Hello, and welcome to the Blessings in the Streets podcast pre-launch special. I'm your host, Joseph B. Roberts, and you have been granted exclusive access to the listening party of my book, Blessings in the Streets, When God Leverages Our Valley Experiences. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you have enjoyed the content that was provided to you today. I will be sharing with you a story entitled Speechless that comes from chapter 2 of my book. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Speechless. I was 13 years old before I ever got the chance to live in a home equipped with a washer and dryer. Before then, we had to go to the laundromat, which I absolutely dreaded because I knew it would be an all-day affair. It was not as if my mom did not know how to do laundry. She just tended to wait until every article of clothing in the house except what you were wearing was dirty. The doors would typically open at 7 a.m., and the game plan was that I run as quickly as I could to claim the largest washing machines available. I usually had a dirty sock or some other article of clothing on hand in advance, so I would have something to throw in as many machines as possible. With Saturdays being the busiest days at the laundromat, the competition to get to those machines was fierce, and those who were present had their game plans figured out as well. When you are a young child stuck in the laundromat with your mother all day, it does not take long at all for boredom, hunger, and thirst to set in. My mom would do as best as she could to keep me content, but the reality was that I did not want to be there. If the laundromat had a television, it was either on a channel I did not want to watch, or you could not hear the television anyway because of the noise from all the machines. You could also toss out the idea of getting sleepy because there was no place inside the laundromat that one could go for a quick nap. By the time the day came to an end, I would be completely exhausted. I did not want to help my mom fold another sheet, made another pair of socks, or pack another laundry bag. During one of our Saturday laundry day escapades, when I was much younger and impatient, as some kids naturally are at a young age, I continued to hound my mom throughout the day for something to drink. She did what she could to oblige me, but it just did not just seem to be suffice in quenching my thirst. Eventually, her patience would wear thin, very thin, and she made it clear that I was not getting anything else until we got home. Not pleased with her response, I decided to take matters into my own hands by searching around the laundromat in hopes of finding something to drink. I noticed that on one of the sinks, there was a glass filled with water. Without giving it a second thought, I guzzled down every drop of it. As far as I was concerned, I had just successfully outsmarted my mother and was no longer thirsty. Unfortunately, there was just one problem with what I had done. Although the glass I drank from appeared to be filled with only water, it was, in fact, mixed with chlorine bleach. In an instance, my vocal cords were completely restricted, and I literally could not speak a word. I now had to figure out a way to explain to my mom what just happened. With tears streaming down my face and in a total state of panic, I ran over to my mom and began to relentlessly pull on her arm. Initially, my mom thought I was back to beg again for something to drink, but the expression on my face told a completely different story. Mom was nevertheless confused as to why I was trying to communicate with her without speaking. At this point, I had no choice but to resort to an impromptu game of charades so I could explain to her what happened. Fortunately for me, I was better at this than I thought, so it did not take long for my mom to understand what I was trying to say. She immediately grabbed our laundry and we rushed straight to the emergency room. Even though things initially looked bad for me, my voice was soon restored upon arriving at the hospital by simply drinking a glass of milk of all things. A decision was made to keep me in the hospital, however, overnight for observation, just to make sure no other damage had been inflicted. Mom wanted to be angry with me for initiating this scare, but ultimately it was my health that mattered to her the most. The nurse who attended to me while at the hospital was nice, and she went out of her way to make my stay a comfortable one. She also became mesmerized by my appearance especially my eyes. The nurse later shared with my mom that she really thought her son and I favored each other, and we both had green eyes. Mom would make the decision to reach out to my father so that he was aware that I had been admitted to the hospital. He showed up a short time later to check on me as well as speak with the nurse about my condition. When the nurse returned to my room, she had the most surprised look on her face, and so did my father. It turned out that the nurse who had been attending to me was my father's sister, which meant that she was my aunt. That was the first time she had become aware that my dad had another child whose mother was not his wife. My father had previously shared the news about me with his brothers, but decided to keep it a secret from his sister. Mom then found out that my newly found aunt only lived a few blocks away from us. When she decided to show my mom a picture of her son, it was quite accurate that the two of us not only favored each other, but could possibly pass for brothers. The day after I was admitted, I was restored back to health and allowed to go home. About a month later, I was right back at the laundromat with my mom, but this time I made sure not to drink anything randomly sitting open on top of a sink.